No, you fucker!
Get out! Get out!
No!
Oh my god.
Tag in. Wait, what? Can I go? Tag in?
Sure. Yeah, go. Oh, they left! I'm gonna beat you up!
I'm fucking right-headed, bro!
God, I hate Luna. God, I hate Luna. Go, it's a demo.
I'm gonna eat you!
Comfy.
He's just killing his brain.
I'm addicted to Omega Strikers, and I've not only dropped almost 20 hours into the game already, but I've already bought the Founders Pack and Battle Pass. I'm that invested already. I had known of the game's existence for months now, as one of my friends had played during the game's sort of early access, and he too found himself quite addicted during that period. But I wasn't quite sold on the idea of the game, and was hesitant to even give it a chance. This changed once I had uninstalled League of Legends, and I was now looking for a game that I could enjoy with my friends, as well as a game to preoccupy my monkey brain between videos and between games. I have a massive backlog of games I want to play, but rarely find the time between videos to sit down for hours to play them, and if I do, it's a godsend. But lately I've had Omega Strikers banging down my door to steal my attention from literally anything game related.
Let us begin.
Especially if I'm in the middle of playing one game and get that sweet message from one of my friends. Let's fucking go! So yes, I'm addicted, and although I've slowly stopped playing hours upon hours of this game in single play sessions since I'm starting to slip past my honeymoon phase of the game, so far I still find myself wanting to play it, and I'm looking forward to the future of what the game holds. Now, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. You've probably already seen this game somewhere. Top and big creators alike are talking about the game, and those who aren't playing have still commented on or have passed around the game's opening, which was animated by Studio Trigger. Yes, that Studio Trigger. So if many top creators are already participating in in-game events, talking about and even playing the game for their audiences, why am I making a video to talk about the game? I like the game, get off my back, you gotta I think the game is a lot of fun and deserves your attention to at least look into, especially since it is free to play with the typical monetization that you would see in live service games like this. It's also available on pretty much everything with crossplay. You have no excuse, go play the game. Moving along, I know we've gone a while without doing this, but let's do some quick housekeeping. Man, I miss this. Omega Strikers is a 3v3 brawler game with MOBA influences that centers on you and your team playing against and scoring against another team by launching the core or ball into the enemy's goal. The characters you play carry their own kit of abilities, level up over time by hitting the core, KOing and hitting opponents, and basically just playing the game, and can be augmented further with the game's awakenings that we'll get into later. Folks over at Odyssey Interactive, the developer of Omega Strikers, described the game as a 3v3 foot brawler, which honestly feels like a fairly accurate way to describe the game. They've been developing it for a couple of years now, holding private and open tests for the game during its development, and it's changed quite a bit over the years in terms of balancing and even mechanics, which is to be expected. The current state of the game is obviously different than what the game was before, and from the footage I've seen, I'm quite satisfied with how the game has turned out. There have been several updates to the game in terms of balance and quality of life that honestly make me quite hopeful about the devs' choices in the future of the game in terms of the game feel. But with that all out of the way, let's start taking a look at the gameplay, since that's pretty much, you know, the game. As we talked about before, the game has you and two others face off against another set of 3 individuals, 2 forwards and 1 goalie. Your goal as a team is to get this core into the opponent's goal a certain amount of times depending on the game mode. Simple enough until you factor in,
Hey, you wanna see something cool?
Violence.
the enemy can and will commit several acts of violence to attempt to keep you from scoring, whether it be just throwing out a stun or interrupt, blowing you up with a nuke, banishing you to a different realm, or just outright punching the shit out of you. You are not safe. And don't expect the ref to blow that whistle to save you from your bloodthirsty opponents. Sometimes, it feels like the people forget about the core and just want to kill me. Please. And I get it. Just walking up to someone and going is cathartic as hell. but no matter how many knockouts you get, you won't win unless you start scoring. Knocking out your opponents does provide more pressure on the enemy, since the enemy team will be lacking a teammate, so don't be afraid to give them the old razzle-dazzle. Now, depending on your character, you may have a bit more kill pressure than that of another. For example, the queen of giving concussions herself, Juliet is a great all-rounder with kill pressure and presence, but will have an easier time killing someone when compared to the queen of thigh gaps, Estelle, who is able to strike and poke from a distance with her long-range abilities, making her wonderful at sniping the core from safe distances, or just teleport in and snag it away from you. There's a wide and varied selection of characters, each with their own abilities and playstyle, filling pretty much any niche you can think of. Tiny gremlin that wants to legalize nuclear warfare? Check. Big buff guy who wants to punch the shit out of you? Check. An edgy guy who's possessed by the energy of another world and is attempting to rescue his lost friend by using shadow powers at the request of a dark power from another realm? Well, that's weird and kind of fucked up of you to want something that specific, but go nuts! Hell, big woman.
Dubu.
The Blobbo Queen herself. And with the game's live service model, there have been and will be new characters added over time, each with their own style, gameplay, lore, and aesthetic. Each character even has its own tier system you build XP for to get some extra themed goodies for your favorite characters. Two of the newest characters, Octavia and Vice, are demon twins who use the power of EDM and rock to dominate the battlefield. One does so by becoming a speed demon to maneuver around her opponents, while the other strikes, interrupts, and beats her opponents to steal the core. They are both welcome additions, and Vice has easily become one of my all-time favorites to play. They were even added with a new map, an appropriately themed event, and even new awakenings. And this is my segue to talking about the awakening system in the game modes. I can't think of a better idea. Omega Strikers essentially has two game modes, quick play and normal/ranked. Both modes have you go 3v3 on a random map, which also has their own hazards and objectives to open up the goal, and have to score against the enemy. But the differences arise in the number of rounds, scores needed to win, and the awakenings. Think of the awakenings as modifiers to the game or character you are playing, i.e. extended range on projectiles, increased player size, increased health, faster movement speed on haste abilities, bigger constructs, and etc. If I'm there to get invested and have the stamina, I'll go the distance and play normal matches. But quick play is just as fun, but much shorter. In quick play, both teams are assigned a set of 3 awakenings, alongside their chosen forward or goalie awakening. Afterward, you'll load into the game and will need to score 5 total goals on the enemy to win. In normal/ranked, you'll instead have to win 3 rounds of scoring 3 and will draft awakenings from a randomly provided list in between each round. I know some long-term testers and players from the earlier iterations of the game aren't a fan of drafting awakenings between rounds, as I feel it slows down the game too much, and I can see where they're maybe coming from, but as someone who's only played the release version, I like the awakening draft phase. Sure, it's a pause in the action, but it's honestly a welcome pause to talk to my friends, strategize, and plan. It's almost like calling a timeout. It gives you a brief moment of reprieve if you're getting your ass handed to you as well. Speaking of awakenings, another thing I'm actually a huge fan of is the awakening rotations. Every so often with the patch, new awakenings will be added and some will be temporarily taken out. They will eventually return and others will be taken out in their place, but the system for me is golden in my eyes. Rotating awakenings around and adding new awakenings as well provides a new sense of freshness to keep players trying out new builds and ideas. Now moving forward, I will never touch ranked mode. Mostly because I hate ranked modes in any game, but that's a conversation for another time. But if that's your jam, go and get that bag, gamer. But that aside, I genuinely love this game, and I think you definitely need to check this game out. My only worry might be how the devs will keep the game updated with content. The game is fun, insanely fun, but what's going to keep people around are new gameplay changes, maps, events, skins, characters, and etc. So far, I feel they've done a pretty good job at adding content since the game has recently just launched into this 1.0 and is becoming available on pretty much every platform. Overall, it's been about 3 months since Omega Strikers' full release, and we received 3.5 events, 11 skins, 3 for the creator event, 3 for the Rock vs EDM event, and 5 for the Boba Tea event. 1 battle pass with 51 tiers of its own goodies, 3 new characters, 5 new maps, several new awakenings, 1 new game mode that I'm not sure is limited, many balance changes, many quality of life adjustments, and more. The game is fun, the game is free, and they're doing a great job, especially with how they're directly engaging with the community through their Discord and Twitter, and even tournament support for the competitive folks. Go play it on your platform of choice, form your own opinions, and I hope to see you on the field. And that's Omega Strikers. I love this game, and I hope you will too. But I hope you enjoyed this video even more. I've been gone for a good little bit, but I'm glad to be back in the saddle and making videos again. Sorry I was gone for so long. long, and I hope that I won't have times where I just up and disappear again. I tend to stay active on Twitter, not so much Instagram, so if you want to keep up with me, videos, and projects, give me a follow. And to be notified about new videos, you already know. My name is CrossVee, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Love y'all. Peace.